Ready, set, draw!
Welcome back to Ready, Set, Live. This is Tyler, and we've got a great slate of topics to talk about today. But before we get into it, please remember to like and share the content, as well as subscribe to the channel. Every bit of support helps grow the channel and bring new content to listeners like you. This episode is also sponsored by Texarkana Podcast Studio. Wanting to start your very own podcast or voice web series? Well, Texarkana Podcast Studio is the place for you. Whether it's true crime, sports, murder mystery, or a fun card game you want to talk about with your friends, Texarkana Podcast Studio is here for all of your recording needs. Check out the link in the description below to schedule your first session today. Texarkana Podcast Studio, where your voice is heard. Well, guys.
Welcome.
And we're back. Back at it again.
The four horsemen of the Lorcana apocalypse.
Oh, my gosh.
Apocalypse. Oh, no.
Can I be war?
No.
I just want to be either war or death. I don't care which one, just war or death.
All I can say is it's good to be back. It's good to have everyone here in one room again.
Yeah.
Maybe some vacations are over now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we got a little while. If you guys leave, it's okay.
The other thing that's really great to have is our first ever guest on the show. We have, I'm going to let him introduce himself. Who do we have here with us?
Dibs on Gambit. I want to be Gambit.
Okay.
I know he's not the fourth horseman, but he's the cool man, you know? He's got that southern style. He's hooking up with Rogue. Good times. I bet you money, Gambit's the best cook out of the X-Men.
For sure. It's got to be.
Well, I don't know if every single listener we have recognized who just called Gambit. Who do we have with us here on the show?
Hi, everybody. My name is Sugi. I am from Lorcanacast. You might have heard of us. We do music videos and dance routines and things about Lorcana sometimes. Don't worry about it. But yeah, that's me.
All right. Well, we're going to kick off the show. We have a lot of cards to discuss today.
So many cards.
But there are some things we're going to discuss on the show today that are not expressly card reveals. Firstly, this show being recorded on a Thursday night, we know for certain that there will be a reveal on Friday that we can't really predict. Does anybody have a quick prediction for what the card's going to be based on what we've seen?
No idea, but I do know that this segment is called Lorcana News.
I'm just hoping we get another Ruby card.
Yeah, I'm hoping for
I'm
Ruby or Emerald.
really hoping
Emerald.
for Ruby.
What
Emerald.
about your haters?
Emerald's okay, too. Either one of those. Either one.
Yeah.
I'll take
Just
a
not
green.
steel, not amber.
Yeah.
Watch
Those
it
two
be
have plenty.
steel.
Yeah.
If it's
Don't-
It's another steel board wipe or
Yeah.
board
Oh,
damage. I'm like,
gosh.
wow, we got what we asked for.
Well, they really
Wrath
don't
of
want us
God.
to
Give
test
us
the
the Wrath
game.
of God. I'll
Yeah.
take it. Yeah.
Okay, so other than that reveal that we can't predict yet, I'm calling Ursula, by the way. The first bit of news
Ooh.
is the Ravensburger company and Ryan Miller as a whole, as far as the Upper Deck lawsuit goes, did file a motion to dismiss the lawsuit. I'm not going to bore you with the legal details because Paul Lesko on Twitter can do that for you. He does wonderful breakdowns and actually is a lawyer. The big takeaway, though, from that we all want to kind of spread the word of is while things may be delayed, they're not done. But the good thing is Lorcana is full steam ahead. There's nothing to worry about as far as the availability of events we can go to, card reveals, the game being released on time. All that is good to go. So, speaking of card reveals, let's get to the first one. Tyler, I believe you have the first card we're going to discuss,
I do.
which is what?
He's a big, lovely man. He is the man, the myth, the legend. He's a 6-drop inkable steel, and his name is Kronk, the right-hand man. He's a Storyborn ally. He is a 6/6 with no notable ability because he doesn't have one.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got 2 lore. So pretty big, beefy beat stick type character. But I do love his flavor text. Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
I swear that's your favorite part of every card.
Yeah, every card.
It's-
No, it's
yeah.
not. It's not the text. It's just reading the text out loud. Let's be real.
That's why
He
it's
just wants
called
to use his voice.
flavor text.
Exactly.
It's
He-
flavorful.
But he wants to give the flavor of his
because
voice.
I am the flavor.
All right, so what are our
Tastes
thoughts on
so
Kronk?
good.
What are our thoughts?
Honestly,
He's a very big man.
he is a
Very.
very big man. And
Very big man.
to be fair, I mean that's kind of what he is. He's just big. It's kind of like the same idea with Maui being at 8-drop 8/8. Like I had the same thought with Maui that I felt like if you would have taken off maybe a couple of like if he would have been like a 5/6 or a 5/5 or like one lore and just given him some sort of ability, I'd have been cool with it. But him just being like big and beefy, I mean, he's gonna stick. He's gonna be just like Maui. He's gonna stick around. It's gonna be really hard to get rid of him, and he is going to take something with him when he goes.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really it. Like, I mean, I don't really have a whole lot I don't have a lot of great things to say about him.
I will add on to that. I think with this first set, they're just trying to get some big vanilla creatures in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's playable. I don't think any of them are. Not now.
The vanillas?
Like the higher end ones, like Cerberus.
Oh, okay.
He's kind of getting cut from all of my decks, and like
I could see that. I could see it.
Just
but
now,
I'm still gonna fight you on it.
Yeah. Oh no, that's fine. That's
You
fine.
better show
That's
up at
why.
Gen Con.
Yeah, that's why I brought up the point this way, just because like I think the more cards we're getting revealed, the more I see those getting cut from decks because we're just losing the availability to have a vanilla big beefy creature. Because I mean, like, still just got the other stuff coming out that we'll talk about. What we talked about Tinkerbell, y'all talked about Tinkerbell last week. Like that just took
Similar
8 slots
slot.
in your
Tink, man.
deck.
Yeah.
Because if you run 4 and 4, I mean it's tough to hold these big vanillas, even though they're good for trading and stuff. I think things will slowly just weed them out. Maybe on the low end, the little low ones are okay, but I don't think it's going to be a playable card.
I think you're going to see a lot more mid-range cards take the slot of the bigger cards. So like the 4 and 5 drop range, especially in the 3 and the 4 range, you're going to see a lot more cards in that slot that are just going to be just ridiculously good powerhouse cards that are going to end up making the vanilla big beat stick stuff look really, really dumb.
Okay. I'm about to just completely. You can call it devil's advocate. I feel like I'm God's witness here. This is. I need to.
You
I
can
need to
be.
preach
Please
for
do.
this. So, I understand that you want to get rid of vanillas and add in abilities because it feels like you're getting more value out of that character. And your point, Tyler, was that you feel like you're getting more towards the 4 and 5 end, and you're kind of letting go of some of your top end stuff because you feel like you can get high impact at an impactful point in the game. My point, especially with the newer reveals like Tinkerbell that we've seen that slow the game down, I think it's actually having an effect that the entire game is getting a little bored. Like the late game is less of a hope and more of a reality.
Yeah.
The game slows down enough where turn 6 used to be kind of where games were like the writing was on the wall. But now turn 6 is where you can have your impactful play. Is Kronk it? I can't say that for certain. 2 lore and 6/6 makes them pretty valuable. But I think by set 2 or 3, I think, Alex, you're going to be proven correct on that. I think that the vanillas will get
Yeah.
phased.
No,
as
I think-
far as
yeah.
chapter 1, I think that they're definitely going to hold
Yeah.
spots in decks for me.
Yeah.
I
just think
Cerberus
chapter
still.
1 only half the cards, a little over half the cards revealed, and I'm already like, sorry, Cerberus.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I gotcha. It can be deck dependent too.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. It's
Yeah.
definitely like if you're going for that late game, more I'm gonna control the board. I could see it getting a couple slots in your
But
deck.
I definitely know what deck that you're talking about as far as the deck that you're just like, I'm going to take this out. And that's going to be something like Stitch Turbo.
Yeah.
Where
With
you-
Yeah.
with Amber,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amber Amethyst is going to be that type of deck.
I'm gonna speak to it as somebody that hasn't played as much as you guys, and from where I've seen cards like the vanilla cards effective. Middle of the game when you're ahead, and if you throw down something like Cerberus or this guy, and I don't have a way of catching up or getting rid of your board already, him just being able to just stick and just quest every turn, that was hard for me. So,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know,
can-
that,
You
yeah,
can call it a win more, or you can call it a closer.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So, Sugi, do you have any thoughts about Kronky?
You'll see him on the table.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You know what Kronk reminds me of? It reminds me of Henry Cavill from
Man
Mission
of Steel?
Impossible. No, from
Look at
from
you,
Mission
Steel.
specifically from Mission Impossible Fallout.
Man.
Yeah, no, from Mission Impossible Fallout when he does the arm thing. Where he
In the bathroom.
Yeah, in the bathroom when he's about to. You see it now, don't you?
Do you realize in that GIF you're
what have you
referring to?
done?
he grows a beard
Yikes! Yeah.
when he shakes his wrists. I'll make sure that GIF gets put on the video version. Watch whenever he shakes his wrists in the GIF, he goes from shaven to bearded man, and it's weird. But we'll come
very
back later.
impressive.
We have something cooler to
We've seen that in
discuss.
the SpongeBob movie too.
We have something cooler to discuss than Henry Cavill's beard. And it is the next card on our docket, which is Pongo, Ol Rascal, a 4-cost ruby storyborn hero with 2 strength, 3 willpower, and 2 lore. And notably, my favorite word in the game right now, evasive. So, the other little quality of Pongo that I want to really nail home, the boy is a common rarity card, which means this boy is not going to be hard to find. He's going to be your best friend. He'll be in every pack you get. So,
He is men's best friend.
yeah. So, thoughts on Pongo? I'll open it to the table.
I mean, Sugi, what you think, man?
So, Pongo's a very divisive character on social media. Shocking, the internet. But if you look at what he brings to the table versus his pure stat line, he's a really good card. He's got 2 lore, which is 10% of your win condition, and he's got evasive, which means your opponent has to have either smash or evasive or hard removal. That hurts a lot of colors in rare combinations. So,
Mhm.
like if you're playing against purple green, hey,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about 2 of those 3 problems. You do have to worry about evasive, but if you're playing, say, like steel blue, you're gonna have to worry about removal and hard removal between cannons, smash,
Let it
and
go.
let it go.
Yeah.
So, like, depending on your matchup, Pongo can be really, really good.
Mhm.
If you face into the mirror match, Pongo, if you're playing the game right, your best thing to do is just slap and tap. Just slap it down. Next turn quest, make them swing into you.
Mhm.
Because if you're denying them the opportunity to quest, so for example, Pongo and Peter Pan kill each other. If you quest with Pongo and they challenge with Peter Pan, you gain 2, they did not gain 1. So realistically, that's a 3-point swing in your favor. 2 for you, 1 they didn't get. And it's 2 buys off the board. Do you want to lose Pongo? No. But do you want to quest? Yes. So you
Mhm.
kind of are able to get the best of both worlds where you get a body off the board and you get the lore, where they just get the body and they don't get the lore. So mirror matches are interesting. Removal is interesting, but I mean, the problem with assessing cards based on this card could die to a removal card.
Mhm.
That's like,
Everything
okay, that's
dies
every
to
card in the
removal.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the statements people make are true, but you have to assess those statements within the scope of the game, the deck that you're playing, the cards that they have, if
Yeah.
they're even running those colors. There's a lot of different things to move cards through in a perspective lane or a
Yeah.
filter. So as is, in my opinion, Pongo is very, 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 very good. He's not game breaking, he's not game warping, and for the first set, he's really good. If we get more effective cards, less cost, more lore, all kinds of different factors, he could definitely fluctuate. But like as is in the first set, based on the cards we have available, very, very strong.
Yeah.
He'll definitely see play in evasive decks. Outside of that, maybe,
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah,
But
I think
inside
I
of
can,
red green
I
evasive,
can agree with you on
yes.
that. With the evasive
Mhm.
stuff, he's a shoe-in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's the other decks, like I know we've done like the ramp deck.
Mhm.
I don't see him as much in that deck, but he still could be. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But if you're going full out evasive, you're a threat already. So I mean,
Mhm.
like they gotta have the right counter. It's going to be all
Yeah.
matchup dependent.
For
I
sure.
completely agree with what Sugi's saying.
Yeah, and I kind of want to piggyback off of what Sugi was saying about like, the internet being divisive about this card. And that is, I feel like a lot of people view it from the standpoint of it in a vacuum, kind of like what we talked about on Sugi's podcast
Mhm.
on Lorcanacast. Is looking at it in a vacuum. Yeah, it dies to removal. So does everything. If you look at it from the broad scope of the entirety of the game, it's got a good keyword, probably one of the best keywords in the game besides
Mhm.
probably ward by itself. And it's got really good lore count, and a 2/3 body just means that it might die to something smaller, but that smaller thing has to have evasive to be able to get rid of it, or
Yeah.
you're wasting some sort of removal on it. So
Yeah.
either way, I do think, just like Sugi, I think it's going to be good for at least a decent while until we find something that's got either better stats or a better ability, or even just like a lower
Yeah.
casting cost.
It still comes to a point too. If you think about it in like the flow of a game, let's say you went first, you got to 4 ink first, you play your Pongo down, and then the other person goes, and let's say they have the perfect answer that we know right now, which is smash. That's 3 of their ink.
Yep.
They now have 1 ink left over. They're pretty much using their entire turn 4 to remove your turn 4 threat,
Yep.
which basically means they might as well have spent 4 ink on it, which means you're even. And guess what? They don't have that smash now whenever you have something heavier to throw down on turn 5 or 6, which is the point I think is like one of the most important points.
Yeah, I think
as far as
it's nice
evaluating.
that it will eat removal because it will require it if they don't have a lot of answers for evasive, but it allow like your bigger threat evasive creatures to come out.
Start eating it. That's what
Yeah.
Peter Pan was like. I wasn't on the episode where y'all discussed Peter Pan. That's my favorite card of the ones y'all discussed on that. I think it was episode 4 or 5.
I think it was 5.
I think
You
it was
were
5.
correct.
On that episode, Peter Pan is just like he's like the early evasive turn 3 dude that just says, "Send your fire the cannons in my way if you really need to." Because
Yeah, the more
I'm gonna
evasive
start
creatures
eating
coming
those
out, the more
removals.
Pascal's getting weaker because
Yeah.
he's like,
You said that though.
yeah.
No,
so-
no.
he's still good, but he's getting weaker.
He is getting weak.
I disagree. I think he's just as good as where he was.
Okay.
Okay. I think there's different answers now, which makes him weaker. But
So here's an interesting
He's still
proposition.
good. He's still really good.
If we're talking about Lorcana economics, you play turn 3 Peter Pan. They are on their turn 3. They use cannons to get rid of him. They have 2 ink to play with. They may or may not have a body they want to play. So that's important. You go to turn 4, you play your Pongo. They go to their turn 4, they play Smash. Now they have 1 ink available. They may or may not have a body. If they've missed any of those drops, although you've lost 2 characters, which is rough, they also may or may not have played 2 characters. Or if they played a 2-drop or 1-drop, the most impactful cards in the game right now at that level are going to be like your Lilo, Baby Mal, Simba with Bodyguard. They're not hyper game warping.
Mhm.
And you still have your turn 5 Goofy, and then your turn 6 Tigger, and your turn or Genie. So if you can stay on curve, yeah, you're eating removal. That's not great. But I'd rather have my Goofy and Genie be pretty unchecked.
yeah,
And if their board is as small as it is, then sure, you quest with your Lilo or Baby Mal. I'll swing in my Goofy, take 1 damage. If you don't have evasive, I don't care. If you do have evasive, I might care. But at the same point, I'm potentially going to get 2 for 1 if my Goofy eats your 1-drop and then you swing into my Goofy and then you trade again. And then I, again, stay on curve and play Genie or Tigger. So it's not perfect. Getting hit with removal is not awesome. But at the same point, the opponent can't play removal and flood their board with quality characters at the same time.
Yeah.
So you're forcing them to burn their removal early game, which also eats cards out of their hand. And this game is not very fast on card draw.
absolutely.
So you guys play
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! You know what
Mhm.
it feels like to burn a hand that you set a bunch of traps, you play a bunch of spells, you pitch for cost, and then all of a sudden, like turn 4, you don't have any cards to play and you're top decking.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just fine. I'm still playing my strategy. I'm doing my thing. I've still got cards. What happened to you? So like depending on if there's purple or card draw in the opposing player's deck, sure, let them burn me out early game. My plan in evasive decks is late game.
Yeah.
You have to worry about me after turn 5. If you blow your entire hand of removal on me turns 1, 2, 3, 4, cool.
good with
I'm
it.
going to keep
Yeah.
playing. Yeah.
It's really
That also tells me you don't have bodies in your hand. If you're playing a lot of removal, you're probably going to have to either ink something you don't want, make a sacrifice play, or you're going to be playing low to the ground bodies, and my things are bigger.
Mhm.
So it's not optimal. I'm not saying it's perfect, but generally, if you're hitting me with cannons on turn 3, smash on turn 4, what are you inking? What do you have in your hand? What are you doing with your board state? Like,
Yeah.
where are we at here?
Yeah, it would definitely be matchup and draw dependent. I
Yeah.
mean, like you said, if Amethyst is in it and you're getting draws off of stuff like that, yeah. The one thing I could think of kind of like with your argument is like if I do have a Baby Mal on board and I'm hitting yours but question for 2, hitting yours but question for 2, they get to 6 real fast, but
Yeah.
then you could draw something that turns the game completely. I mean, it definitely be draw dependent and turn dependent. I definitely agree with that.
Speaking of Baby Maleficent or Maleficent biding her time,
What a
That brings
perfect
us-
segue.
That brings us to the next card. Alex, what's the next card?
Another very good card in my opinion, actually. But it is Lilo, and she is a Amber character. She's a 1-cost uninkable, just like Baby Mal. A 1/1, just like Baby Mal, and Quest for 2 lore, just like Baby Mal, and the same
Nice.
rarity.
It's my Amber's baby.
Rare.
Yes.
It's a rare. So they value this.
I when we first started the
value it
podcast,
too.
I was actually pretty low on these kind of characters, and I have moved up
Heck, me too.
and moved up and moved up. Like every time I played, I'm like, what do you do if I just quest away? Like, but we've gotten some answers for that, especially with the Tinkerbell and stuff. So that is nice to have. But this is a very solid card. I mean, we have a card just like it, and I think it's in even better colors because because Amber is all about the characters and all about the low cost with Stitch Rockstar. So, and then also the other Stitch with having multiple characters on board, drawing, helping you fill your hand late game. I just think this was a perfect home for Lilo.
Yep. This was something that when I saw this card revealed, my initial thought was, oh no, another Baby Maleficent for the Amber Amethyst deck. But then I kind of was like, how many uninkables can they really play in that deck? There's room for it, but what really ended up staying in my head was Amber doesn't need Amethyst anymore to have that early game presence for like a threatening 2 lore. Because initially Simba got revealed, and Simba was the answer. Like, I'm going to play my Maleficent biding her time, then I'm going to play my Simba, and I'm going to quest with Maleficent. But now Amber can do it on its own.
I'm gonna throw a little wrinkle in yours. I'm literally running all of them.
Okay.
I just updated my deck today,
Yeah.
and I'm running all of them. And I'm like, what do you do?
Is it just turbo?
Oh, it's just turbo.
Okay.
There's no top end. There's no challengers in the deck anymore. It's just like quest,
You know,
quest.
We call
quest.
that an archetype called aggro.
Yes.
Aggro rush, where you don't care what the other person's
I don't.
doing. You're
I'm
just going it.
I'm just
going for it.
playing my own game. Solitaire.
Pressing the gas.
So
Well,
then, do you guys think that telegraphs what the other Lilo is going to be?
I think that
I don't think it does.
we do know that the other
It's
Lilo
steel,
is in
isn't it?
steel.
Yeah, it's in
That's
steel.
all
it
we
is.
know. It's
Okay.
like it's like she has like a space helmet on the art on the website. But as far as like does it telegraph? Absolutely not. Because if you think about Baby Maleficent, the 1-cost Maleficent, that didn't telegraph what Maleficent Monstrous Dragon did that cost 9. That didn't telegraph what Maleficent Sorceress did that cost 3.
But if
I
it's a
just think
shift character,
If it's a shift character,
yeah.
this definitely does open things up to like if it's like a shift 2 or shift 3, you're like, oh no.
oh my gosh.
But we know it's in steel. That's all we really know. And steel getting a bunch of damage stuff lately makes me believe that like I don't know how
I don't think she'll be a damager.
Yeah, I was gonna say like they
don't.
need other effects to do things with,
Yeah.
so she's gonna do something else. But yeah. Any other thoughts on the table? Sugi? Any thoughts on Lilo?
Prepare to see lore rush decks at your locals, y'all.
Yes. Yes.
You're gonna see
Alright.
her. You're gonna see Baby Mal. You're gonna see LeFou. You're gonna see anything that has 2 pips. Just again, slap and tap.
Yeah. For
It's,
anybody,
it's red deck wins. You don't think about it. You
I'm-
immediately tap
I'm
it.
so
you quest.
glad. So glad you said that word. Red deck wins. Because I was
It's,
gonna
it's
equate
red
that
deck wins.
to the first time we ever got into Magic. We were asking what colors do we like. I made a mono blue tempo deck, and then Alex
Yay.
made a white weenie deck. And then I realized that I like green, so I made a mono green stompy deck. And Alex realized that he liked red, so he made a aggro burn deck.
Boo.
Yeah. Aggro.
And guess who won most of those games?
Aggro burn.
Alex did.
Technically, the blue tempo was a
Te-
pain
Yeah.
in the butt at the time.
But Goblin Chain Whirler and all the red
Oh, yeah.
nonsense was insane.
Let's
So,
Yeah.
let's just
It's
Chain
just-
Whirler.
Yes.
I remember
Wait,
that.
what about the
card.
Runaway
Holy
Steam
smokes.
King?
Runaway Steamkin.
If you know
yes.
that one, comment below.
Yeah.
That card was busted at its time.
Yeah. So
oh,
red
I
decks.
remember those. Yeah, you're what was that?
Guilds of Ravnica.
Yeah, Ravnica.
Ravnica. Yeah.
Mhm.
Whew, that was
Brutal.
a crazy meta.
That's when we got into the game, everybody. Now you know.
All
Did
right.
they reprint Lightning Bolt in that format too? It was just nuts.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So that
'Cause he had
wraps
shock
up the
bolts. Oof.
1-cost Lilo discussion. It's pretty simple. It's powerful. It's simple. To the point. But we do have a set of twins to discuss next, and Anthony's going to bring us these twins.
Okay, so when these appeared, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I just like how they work together. But the first one is Jetsam, Ursula's spy. It's a 4-cost inkable 3/3. And Storyborn ally has evasive and has an ability called Sinister Slither. Your characters named Flotsam gain evasive, and it's 1 lore. oh my gosh, I thought that was just
Yeah.
so dope. You want me to go ahead and
Yes, please do the other one
Okay.
because they go together. So
And then the other one is Flotsam, Ursula's Spy, which is a 5-cost uninkable 3/4 Storyborn ally with Rush. And it has an ability called Dexterous Lunge. Your character's name Jetsam gain Rush, and it's 2 lore.
okay.
I
This
really
is-
like how they work together.
Yeah.
It's just so dope.
Oh yeah, you always see them like paired up on the movie where it's like you can see one of their eyes and the other one's eyes, and that makes one little being. So they had to design them to work together. But I got to ask everybody, which of the twins do you automatically show favoritism towards? I know my answer, but what's y'all's?
I'll tell you what. Jetsam breaks Lorcana. Hot take. Jetsam breaks Lorcana in half because all you got to do is grab a Sharpie, cross out the name of your favorite card,
Oh, God.
and then write Flotsam on it. And then it'll give that card a
Ah.
choice, evasive, because
Oh.
it says Flotsam
So
on
you're
the
telling
card.
me I can erase the name Kronk, write Flotsam, and then give my right hand man 6/6 evasive?
This card does not say that is an illegal play, nor is it in the quick start rules either.
All right.
Sure.
Maybe in the main rules.
Maybe in the comprehensive guide. Yeah, hopefully.
If not,
Please, for the love of
Ravensburger add it.
Yes, please don't do stickers, but just, add
Oh, dude.
Oh yeah.
Ma-
for
Oh,
real.
Magic.
stickers. That'd be
Magic.
hilarious.
Magic did a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know,
What's your favorite time?
oh, man, honestly, I think Jetsam is a very good card, but man, both of them together just kind of talking about earlier, with evasive feeling like it's really good, and talking about the fact that like certain decks really want to have certain keywords. Dear goodness, the fact that Amethyst got this type of evasive, it's a 3/3,
baked in.
just baked in,
Yeah.
and then giving the ability of evasive onto Flotsam, because turn 4 you play this and you've got that evasive body just kind of sitting there, and then turn 5 you play Flotsam, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I just gave a Rush character evasive.
Yeah, it's definitely more oriented towards like being the evasive remover rather than the evasive quester.
Yeah.
With only 1 lore for 4. But I've seen like innately when I saw these pairs, I was immediately like, okay, well, if it's turn 4, turn 5, it does feel a little bad to like retroactively give something Rush that could already do everything by the
Yes.
time
Yeah,
you play
I
it.
completely agree with that. But
However, if they made it where you could do the other one first, this would be such just a no-brainer.
turn 4 this, turn 5 this
Yeah.
Rush.
See,
it also has evasive.
Because
Yeah.
now
It'd be crazy.
the song that the one that allows you to play a 5-drop from your hand,
Mm-hmm.
now that actually becomes
Just in
relevant.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that card becomes
I
relevant.
never even thought about that.
Because now you can
Yeah.
play this turn 3. You
Here's
can,
the thing. You play that, you got to play a lot of it so you can make sure you have it by turn 3.
That's
Have
8
both.
unequables.
And that's
Right.
8 uninkables right away, which does scare me. But I do like where your head's at, Mr. Tyler. I
It
do.
does
I
scare
do.
me.
It does scare me.
It-
I do respect you.
it changes kind of it does change the deck building thought process a little bit, but
yeah.
I think what that does with the ability of being able to put it on the field before you put the Jetsam down makes that combination so much better.
Yeah. I think to your point, and this is a little bit tangential, it's not just about the card or the cards themselves. I love that you just brought that up because it reminds me of every single time they release a card, you really got to look through the whole set.
Yeah.
Because I know whenever they released Goofy Musketeer and they introduced a little bit of healing, add a little bit of a big willpower setup with the bodyguard, I immediately kind of thought, okay, well, yeah, it goes in a Musketeer deck. And it brought Dinglehopper back into my life, where previously I had dismissed the card. And then I was like, oh, wait, this card can totally work.
Yeah.
It can totally work. But previously to that, there was not a bunch of high willpower stuff you could really work it with. So it felt kind of awkward. So
And it kind of feels like there's a bunch of cards out there that, like, when they were first released, you just kind of look at them and you're like,
meh.
that's pretty meh.
Yeah.
And then other cards release and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This might actually be
Yeah.
good.
We have
I didn't realize that it's a retroactive just aha moment. You're like,
Mhm.
oh snap, that card exists. Oh crap. Okay, I've got to play that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of synergies, and I like that they specifically synergize together. Of course, if we had more, I guess, not generic. I mean, more generic, I guess.
Mhm.
If it was more generic, then
Like
it would
anthems.
be busted. Yeah, like an anthem. But I like that.
It technically
I
is
like
an
that they're
anthem.
doing like both, though. I like that they're doing some synergies that it synergizes generically, and then I like that they're doing card specific synergies too. That makes it really fun, and the lore of it makes it really good. Like you said in the shows and all that, they were right there together
Always
the whole time.
together.
So
I do wish it was a little bit lower costed. I know they could adjust the stats and stuff, but I don't really see them as very powerful characters. So it's always hard for me to see like high costed cards of like
Oh,
characters
I
I
see
don't
what you're
think is
saying,
high.
So
But we could work
on
on
that statement, I do want to know, Sugi, what do you think of these cards?
I think they're good.
I'm with him.
I agree with a lot of the. Okay, so again, I say things that are controversial because it's fun.
Welcome.
Agent of Chaos.
You
my
are
guy.
welcome here.
Yeah, Agent of Chaos. So interesting thing about Flotsam, it doesn't make sense why he would give the thing that comes before him Rush. So there's something else we don't know about that would indicate there's probably another card or two. There's probably another Flotsam. There's probably another Jetsam in the set. Or I've talked to people about this. It could be a Pokemon style card where it's like Flotsam and Jetsam on a card, and they would both proc each other because it has the name Flotsam and the name Jetsam.
I do like that.
what if it's
you
like
have
a shift and
Pikachu
it can go on
Reshiram.
top of either one?
Oh,
That would be cool.
That would be really cool.
So if you think about Pokemon, you had like the dual cards
Yeah,
where you had
tag
like
team.
Pikachu, Reshiram, Pikarom, or I'm sorry, yeah, you had Pikarom, and then you had Reshizard. So we could see a Flotsam Jetsam combo where you have Jetsam 4-drop, Flotsam 5-drop, and then Flotsam and Jetsam 7-drop.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That would be crazy.
Awesome
cool.
idea.
Or
Another interesting thing is anytime they print another card that has these titles, the combo just gets better.
oh yeah, for sure.
And I'm willing to wager in set 1, there's another set of these two in a different color.
Oh,
an interesting
oh
thing.
yeah,
I think they're going to be in red.
that would be so great.
Sweet.
I think
so
I think
good.
we're gonna see slivers. I think we're gonna see one gives one rush. I think the red ones are gonna be like a Flotsam gets like Challenger +2.
Ooh.
And then another one. I think if there's Challenger that increases strength, I think there's something that increases willpower. So I think there's another kind of like we saw a new keyword today that we're gonna talk about. I think there's another keyword that we're gonna see that gives Flotsam or Jetsam +X in the butt.
Okay.
Makes them bigger, harder to kill.
Why do I kind of get the feeling, and kind of piggybacking off of that, is that Ursula is going to make one of these or
That could
both of
be.
these a little bit cheaper?
I was thinking that too. Yeah.
Cost reduction.
That could
That
be
would be very nice.
very.
I
good
could
thought.
Here's another scary thought.
that's
Real
a
scary thought.
massive scary thought.
By
Ursula's
the
going to
time
be good.
people listen-
Period.
Speaking of
I was gonna
the
say,
the life under the sea, do you have another topic? Little inputs there, Sugi?
I was gonna say a scary thought. By the time people listen to this episode, there are 10 working business days until Gen Con.
Oh god.
I love how we've narrowed it
Beautiful.
down to business working days, so it's like even closer.
Is there a
Hold
national
on, hold on.
holiday
Yeah,
in there?
I'm trying to help people out. Get the hopes up.
They all
It's-
appreciate you. I know they
Yeah.
do.
Well, we
I just want to point out the fact that I've talked to several people about Gen Con in the last few weeks. I am so freaking excited.
you and me both.
But no, in reality, back to the cards. I do want to say, as they are printed right now, I still think they're good. I know people are gonna say, Jetsam 3/3 evasive, not great at 4 ink. Pongo's a 2/3. He has more lore, yes, but Jetsam is currently the only air quotes counter or answer to evasive inside of a color outside of red and green.
Yeah.
So I know people are gonna be like, what about Pascal? Pascal can't one-shot anything. Pascal's there to quest. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. Pascal's a lore battery. He's there to turn 1, you play him, and turn until he dies. Tap, 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 quest. He's not very. There are very few situations where there's 1 health left and you really need to kill something. Usually you just sit on Pascal and let him do his job.
Yeah.
Jetsam opens up an option. You can answer Pan. You can answer Pongo. You can technically answer both Genie, Tigger, and Goofy if you add Pascal in as the finisher.
That's true.
So it sets up the deck from going to, I don't have any way to interact with evasive, to I don't have a great way, but I have a way.
Yeah.
And that means Amethyst decks having that response can keep up the pace, because eventually at the point before we saw these cards, if you saw evasive, it's like, why? I guess I just lose. I have to outquest. I have to have faster bodies with more lore. And Lilo helps, Baby Mal helps, but also they're so small. And if you don't have evasive, then the opponent who has evasive swings in, kills your little guys. You can't do anything back. And then they just progressively outlore you when questing, and you've just lost the game. Now you have an answer. Some good, like, meta defining. No, he's not. But does he at least set you up for some way to win and compete? Yeah, absolutely. That makes that card good. Flotsam is awkward. I think this version of Flotsam in purple will get better once we see the other Jetsam combo, because his ability doesn't make sense. It alludes to something spicy. Because
get that.
Yes, it
otherwise,
does.
why is it a rare? Why is it uninkable? There's a lot of whys. Like, why are these things happening when in a vacuum this card doesn't do much alone?
Why are we here?
And
Yeah, and the other
yeah,
one is
well, who are we?
the other one's common, so that
Yeah.
that
Right.
does speak a little bit to kind of what.
So there's probably a rare Jetsam and a common Flotsam in insert color here.
Oh, there's so many
So-
questions, so many.
Yeah,
questions.
that's the reason why I think this Flotsam. There's something here. There's a piece of this puzzle we don't know. So I agree with people's assessments. Is Flotsam bad? I mean, yeah, in a vacuum, like right now, with the limited information, sure, I agree. He's not necessarily playable. But I do believe the moment we see that combo piece, it's like, oh, never mind. We were wrong. He's totally doable. There's
He's a
something here.
Tremaine.
There's something here.
Oh gosh.
Why you gotta hurt me like that, man?
We'll get. Trust me, I'm going to bring her up in a little bit.
Can
Tyler,
someone get the Neosporin for that giant scar on my back? It's just burning right, real bad.
Tyler, we've been talking about some cards under the sea. How about you give us the king of it?
You mean the king?
Yes, the thing that evolves from Goldeen,
Oh yeah,
the Sea King.
the Sea King. Oh gosh. Okay, so we got Triton, and he is a 7-drop inkable. He's a 5. Wait for it. 5/9.
Oof.
That big body, man. It just
You can say it. Big booty.
The booty, the big booty. And it's got 2 lore. I do like he's just a troubled dad, because if you've read the flavor text, isn't because I said so enough of a reason.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. I don't like this card. I don't like it. I know it has reasons to play it. Sapphire wants to ramp. So far, the biggest, heaviest stuff you can play is in Ruby. So it's kind of forced you to play that Sapphire Ruby stuff. Maybe Sapphire needs its own things to build up into. I respect 9 willpower. I respect that. However, if you gave him 3 lore, we'd be seriously talking here. But at only 2, at a 7 cost, he is ink for the majority of the game. The dude is ink. And you're not going to quest with him till turn 8. You're telling me that it'll be hard to
I
get
have a
damage removal
proposition.
on him. But
Uh-oh.
but I just think he's going to require, like, if he gets like the hard removal, it is such a favorable trade for the person who played the hard removal, because you were really banking on that 9 willpower doing something. That's not just a dice removal argument. I'm saying, like, you invested 6, 7 ink, probably your whole turn into the Sea King. So it's tough. I don't really like him. Any
agree.
opposition? You agree?
I think, well, it feels bad. It's a feel bad
Yeah.
moment. It's like, here's my 7-drop. Cool. Here's my 5-drop.
Yeah.
Ouch. But that's like all removal ever. I mean, remember Black with like what was that blade that auto killed you as long as you weren't a black creature?
Oh,
Oh.
Doomblade.
Mm-hmm.
Doomblade's like, oh, here's my like giant 8/8 creature. It's like, cool, Doomblade. So this isn't as feel bad. Couple thoughts. He has the king keyword.
Yeah.
We've started to notice some interesting things, and you guys were the ones who talked about it on our show. Simba's a 2/3 with bodyguard. Minnie is a princess with the exact same stats, but she has the princess keyword.
Oh, good take. Yes.
So you had mentioned that you think that there's something powerful in that princess keyword that keeps her from having a special ability.
Yeah.
I look at this card and think there's something where I think we're missing something. So either there's going to be a Storyborn trigger, or I think there's going to be a King trigger. There's something that either boosts him out, gives him ward,
Yeah.
does something with that King trigger, because his stats are great. His price is awkward, but we are starting to see a lot of these cards pop up with these keywords. I think Simba and Minnie are a great example. They're like identical cards. One is bodyguard and one is princess. Interesting. Why is that? Why would they do such a thing? Here's a 7-cost 5/9 vanilla. Why is that? He has the King keyword, the King type. Where are we going to see that come into play? Because my gut says we're going to see something happen with that keyword.
There's 2 other kings in the game. There is Hades, King of Olympus, and there's Simba, the Returned King.
Okay.
So as far
3
as
different colors.
3 different colors.
Yep.
And as far as all the kings are concerned, Hades is probably easily the best one, as far as what his ability does for his own archetype of villains.
Because he has the shift, I'd give that to
because
you.
because of his shift ability is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
Simba is no slouch.
Oh yeah, no, Simba is no slouch at all. But just as far as like overall abilities that can kind of warp the game around itself, Hades has got a really good ability that does a really good job of kind of pushing you to the win.
Yeah.
There's something here we're going to find out soon. Now, I could be totally wrong. He could just be a vanilla card for the sake of vanilla, but
Yeah. I'm scared that
I lean that way.
I'm scared that
I think he's a vanilla for the sake of being a vanilla, mostly because of his rarity.
Oh, yeah, uncommon,
He's
yeah.
just an uncommon. And I feel about him like I've talked about, like I felt about Kronk earlier. I don't think they're that good. I think they'll get edged out. I'm not saying in the future, like set 2 or 3, that we don't get, kind of like what Sugi's saying, something for them. And I want to have high hopes, but I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know if they will.
Well, we're going to get a lot of vanillas in this set. We're going to. We're going to. And I love vanilla ice cream. Don't get me wrong. I love vanilla. It's great. It's the greatest base you're ever going to get. But.
wow. Oh, no.
But.
Strawberry.
Truth.
Strawberry's flavorful.
Man, me and
consider that a
Sugi
special.
on the same
I consider
page
that
right
a
now.
special. But
Strawberry milkshakes, gift from heaven.
The thing is, I like, to your point, Alex, him being an uncommon, that does lead me to believe, like, okay, maybe it is just a vanilla for vanilla's sake. Because I think what they wanted to do with the reveal of this card, when it was strategically revealed, I think they wanted to get something that was Little Mermaid themed, because they had other Little Mermaid themed reveals in the same week.
Still looking for Ursula.
I think they planned this to be like hey guys, willpowers go up to 9. Do you like that? Because we hadn't seen anything with 9 willpower thus far.
That's
if we
true.
had seen another 9 willpower card, this would be such a nothing burger to even discuss. But it's just, I like the character. He's really cool. I'm hoping there's another King of the Sea, because if there's not another King of the Sea, then it's kind of like you said with Maui on the other episode. You're like, man, this is the King of the Sea, man. He's just a vanilla.
Yeah, some of the things that they've given vanilla to, you're like, man, they could do so much more. So I am hopeful that they do much more. But
Right.
I think there will eventually be
ponder
another card.
this. Here's a proposition. The card we're about to talk about is a part of this strategy. So currently in the air quotes meta of Lorcana, as in the 104 card set, the super aggro lists with lots of weenies are very, very good. And the game's over by like turn 6 or 7, because it's just high lore values, tap, 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 go. With Steel, which we've seen Tinkerbell, Cannons, Smash, the game can be slowed down very heavily in a control deck, which Triton loves.
Yeah.
Because if you slap down a Tinkerbell on turn 4, 5, or 6 via shifting on turns 4 and 5, or hard casting, you've slowed down the pace of the game. If you get Triton online on turn, so like think about this: turn 1 or turn 2, Cannons take out their weenie. Turn 3, take out their mid character. Turn 4, turn 5, set up the Tinkerbell shift, blow some stuff off the board. Your opponent doesn't have much, and they shouldn't be too high on lore either. Turn 7, you drop a 5/9. What you gonna do about it? And if your opponent is playing Steel, not blue or red, they can't kill him unless they too have some of their bigger bodies. So then it turns into a slap fest because guess what? You've got steel and you've got blue. So you've got the tools to not only get rid of their things, but you can slap down your things that are bigger.
Yeah.
So Triton right now can look kind of disingenuous because we're so used to like turbo decks, aggro decks, rush decks, go, 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 go. But I think we're going to see us again with this next card we're about to talk about. I think we're going to see the format slow down depending on the deck you play, and you will have the opportunity to play Triton. Also, blue has ramp, so you could get him out as early as turn 5.
I think you could
And I
actually
wouldn't-
probably get him out turn 4 if you do it if you have like the ridiculous
Multiple
hand.
If you have the
Rampers.
nuts, yeah.
Yeah,
If you have
if you-
multiple
Don't-
jumps,
Yeah, the issue with that is though, if you're ramping him out when you
You're not
play
doing
when you
anything.
playing your Tinkerbells and your
Yeah.
other cards that are
Right.
slowing
right?
down.
So
so
you
it's
probably
definitely
only
a-
want a little bit of ramp
Yeah.
to offset the cost, but the
For sure.
reality is we're probably going to see a Sebastian, and my guess is he probably reduces the cost of Triton.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
That would be
That'd be
so
really
cool.
Like a LeFou, but in reverse. He doesn't
Oh,
get
yeah.
cheaper whenever you have a guest on. He's just
Or
yeah,
we
he's the other
could
guy cheaper.
see a Sebastian who like buffs Triton.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'll give him the.
I mean,
the
anything.
extra.
Also, don't
Yeah.
forget we have Ward and Aurora in blue. So
True.
if this man
Oh,
has
oh,
Ward,
yes.
And we've
like,
got
that is very
Merlin
strong. Good
that's
point.
got support, so that 5/9 becomes way bigger with Merlin
an
because he's a
8/9.
3, becomes an
Yeah.
8/9.
Yeah.
He is 100%.
Yeah, but you're probably
in.
not swinging
Yeah.
him as much, especially if you're just trying to beat like a rush deck.
Because
Right.
technically you can get usefulness out of his stats by just saying
It really
hit me.
It really comes
know?
down to
cough,
what
cough.
will
We
end.
have coconuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's healing.
It's like
we
what
can keep
ends up
healing
being
him.
the best thing to pair with steel, because steel has
Yeah.
proven itself to probably be the more control color. It's
Mhm.
what color pairs better. Is it? I mean, at Ruby you got Aladdin. That's draining lore back. I mean, is it
Mhm.
Emerald? I mean, it all comes down
Yeah.
to that. But Triton, like you said, he definitely can be good in his spots.
Well, speaking of steel, we do have our next card.
The card I think we've
The
all
card,
been begging for.
Yeah, the card we all been begging
Oh,
for.
gosh.
Tinkerbell said,
It
"Hey
scratched the
guys,
itch.
we can do this. Did you know that we can do damage on abroad?" And then
What
What
about
did
a
you-
brunette?
What did you just call Tinkerbell? Abroad? How
No,
dare
oh
you?
my goodness. Okay,
I think
so
she's a blonde.
She is.
damage a blonde. Well, the thing is, the one damage was enough for people to say, "Oh, thank you," something to deal with wide boards. But all the conversation afterwards followed up with, "Okay, you did your one damage. Now, can you get her to swing and kill something so you can get her second ability to go off? Because one is not usually enough."
Well, now it is.
Well, now we have the card Grab Your Sword, a 5-cost uninkable song action. So if you have a character who costs 5 or more, they can exert to sing it for free. And its effect is deal 2 damage to each opposing character. And I do feel like it is noteworthy to also mention this does set the precedent that song cards do not have to have the title of the song as the name of the card, because this is actually called the mob song in Beauty and the Beast.
You
So
can't call this the mob song.
yeah, I don't think they
and-
want kids talking about the mob whenever they go play at
mob
their
song.
locals.
Wow,
Yeah.
that got dark.
So I think the
Hey, Mom,
grab,
I played the mob song.
Yeah.
It was really good.
so the Grab Your Sword, dealing 2 damage to everything. I think not just in conjunction with Tinkerbell, because you can dream combinations in your head all the time. It's a song, yes, Tinkerbell can sing it. We get that. That's good. But Grab Your Sword, as far as deal 2 damage, I do know that 2 willpower is definitely a willpower that everyone's been a little scared to play thus far, because typically it does not trade well with other things. But I definitively think that this card and its existence means that you should not just maybe be scared about 2 willpower characters. You should definitely be scared with 2 willpower characters. They are not safe. They don't require your opponent to necessarily give up resources, because this is a song. All it's going to take is 1 5-cost or higher exert, and you're going to get cleared pretty much for free. In air
Pongo
quotes.
looking real good right now, being
yeah,
a
with
2-3,
that 3.
bud.
Yeah,
I told you.
yeah. So
So if I write Flotsam on this card, does it gain
yeah,
evasive?
it does extra to
Your song
evasives,
gets
yeah.
evasive.
Yeah, Grab
Yeah.
Your Sword has evasive. Oh,
Yeah.
oh boy.
So
Oh,
I
boy.
think just to kind of like, before I give it to the table, I want to set the stage for this. It is uninkable, which definitely with any card that is uninkable, it makes you think like, okay,
What's the ratio?
not just is this card good, how
wrote
does
this
it
card?
compare to the other uninkable cards in the color or in, pairs? So y'all can feel free to go ahead and tell me what you think of the card, but also maybe in context of like comparing it to the other steel uninkables that you know.
This makes for a great napkin. Total trash. No, I'm just kidding. Send all your hate mail to readysetdrawtcg@gmail.com.
Yeah.
If you really want to. No, I'm just kidding. Please don't.
I guess
We get enough, man. We get
And my
enough mail.
evil plan worked.
Alex, what are your thoughts?
I guess my initial thoughts is the card we needed.
Yes.
First off, I mean, like you said, 2 is so important to hit.
Mhm.
It hits so many things, especially in those aggro lists. Like 1, it was good. It hit the Baby Maleficence. It hits the new Lilo. That's fine. Couple other key things, but 2 was huge. I mean, knocking out
Mhm.
that Stitch before, if they don't have the shift yet, or
Mhm.
or knocking out some Timones, or I mean, LeFou, I believe, is 2 as well. Is he not?
He's a
Is he
1-3, I think. I think LeFou's a 1-3, I believe.
We can find out.
While you're looking, you want to hear a really hot take?
Ooh,
Sure.
hot take.
Hot takes with
So,
Hades.
okay, so do you guys remember Gantu and his ability that stops characters with cost 2 or less from challenging? So if you look at their stats, 2 drops or less are not really scary as challengers. So when I saw that, it was like, there's some, again, what are we not seeing here?
Yeah.
And now we see grab your sword and we see tank, and I'm like, we still haven't seen it yet. I think there's a character or an item that says characters that cost 2 or less get +1/+1.
Oh. That could, I
Which-
could definitely see that.
Which would make your 2 drops kind of spicy, because now they can swing up as 3/3s, or I don't think there's a 3x in a 2 drop yet. I wouldn't be surprised
No,
if we
not
see like
yet.
a 3/1,
Yeah.
because we've already seen Scar, who's what, 5/3
Mhm.
for 4. So because we have a lot of game archetypes that we're copying, because all card games kind of steal from each other, Magic is very prominent for having the classic 3/1. It's a big, huge, giant threat.
Yeah.
That has 0 defense.
A ball
So
lightning.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna see something with like Rush 3/1.
Yeah. I could
And
see it.
if you give it a +1/+1 anthem because it's a 2 drop or something silly like that, it's like, oh, it's a 4/2 for 2. Oh my gosh. So when I see Gantu, when I see grab your sword, the more I believe there's some kind of anthem that makes your 1s and 2s that have mediocre stats slightly above curve. Because I mean, a 2/2 evasive Pascal's kind of nice.
That is
actually,
kinda
if you think about it.
Well,
Like,
Anthony has a LeFou pulled up, just so people who were anxiously awaiting the fact if we actually have it right or
Yeah,
not.
we did. It does only have 2
It only
willpower.
has 2.
But I guess my final thoughts on it are, I'm very glad this is not an inkable card. I think it would be a 4 of, no
Would be
doubt, if it was
nuts.
inkable. I'm glad it's not, so you have to make that decision.
It's still a
I
3.
don't think
at the
you
very
play 4 unless the meta requires it.
Yeah.
I mean, if the meta is just aggro, and you got to beat the deck to stop it, so it slows it down, yes. But 2 to 3, I think will be a good home for it. But like I said, this is the card we needed, and it being on a song makes me even happier.
Yeah.
So this song is basically Harvey Dent and Batman. It's the song that we needed, not the song that we
Been
wanted.
begging for it since episode 1.
I think whenever,
Rachel,
literally,
Rachel.
whenever I texted the group chat when I saw this card revealed, I always send it to the crew if I find it. Whoever sees it first usually just kind of text the crew so we can get some immediate feedback. But
Kind of like today.
but I know whenever I texted this, the immediate response from Alex was, "Thank you." It was like within the second that I sent that text, so it was great. All right, so next up we have Alex's card.
So this is probably one of my favorite cards revealed. And it kind of goes with the last one because she can sing higher cost spells.
Oh, that's
We're
funny.
about to find out.
Beautiful.
So 3 cost inkable. She is an amber. She's got 2 strength, 3 willpower, and she has the new keyword singer, and it's singer 5. This
But
character.
who is it?
Oh, it's Ariel.
There we go.
Sorry, I apologize. Singer 5. This character counts as cost 5 to sing songs. and she has 1 lore, so she can quest for 1. And she also has the ability musical debut. When you play this character, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a song card and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order.
I love this.
This
is a
card is
really good card.
amazing.
I really
It's so
love
good.
It's a
the
super
art.
rare.
Yeah,
art,
note
though,
the
for
rarity. Note
Yeah,
the rarity.
unaware.
Yeah. It's a super
It's
rare.
a super
Oh
rare
my
for a
gosh.
reason, my dude.
Listen,
Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
Can we trust him?
just
Yes,
having like
at this point, yes, we can.
the retro Be Our Guest, but for songs
Yes.
on there to dig for a song, and that's a 2-cost card, 2-cost
Mhm.
song. So it's
Yeah.
it's just
It's a 3 cost find an answer.
yeah, it's amazing. I mean, this
So
is going to be
early.
played in a lot of decks.
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like,
Amber
and notable for
seen that
Suki,
gas.
it is a princess. I know you like your keywords over there.
Mm.
It is a princess,
Mhm.
and that deck is already spicing up with all the
I feel like
keywords.
speaking on that, the fact that it's a princess, the first thing we saw whenever Moana came out.
Oh my gosh! It just hit me, Moana.
Well, let me
Oh
hit
my
you, Tyler. Let me hit
gosh.
you. Moana
wait,
can
there's
ready your
more.
princesses.
Mhm.
The first thing we thought of was, okay, I can get an extra challenge if I can't quest. That's cool. Then they revealed songs, and we're like, oh, I can sing songs. Last time we discussed Ariel, who can ready whenever you play an item. It immediately got people's brains cranking on, well, if I can just ready her multiple times, I can get something really going. Maybe I could even sing with her twice. Well, this in the princess deck, I think you play this Ariel for sure.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
even both. Who knows if you have enough good critical mass of items, but she's going to need a good critical mass of songs, I feel like, to make her really punch. But the funny thing is, I don't think she actually needs a critical. I don't think you need her second ability to land to make her good.
Yeah,
Because
I think
she's
she's
just,
good.
Hold up now. Hold
Disagree?
on now. Wait a minute.
I
If
think
she
Singer
didn't have
5
that
is
second
good.
ability, okay, I agree. Singer 5 is great, but as a super rare, if she didn't have that ability, I would be like, no.
Okay, well, for rarity's sake,
Yeah.
you could say you'd be confused on like the quality of the card.
Yeah, drop it down to rarity.
I'm just talking about like the playability of the card. I think a
Reprinting the
3-cost
second set?
inkable 2/3 with 1 lore that has Singer 5, it may be a little more niche, but that's definitely
I mean,
playable.
the card that's closest to it stat wise is Belle. You
Yeah.
lose a lore pip for Singer 5.
That's great to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
like
all
that.
But you
about
get
it.
to dig 4 cards.
Yeah, we're not arguing that
No,
the
no,
second
that's-
ability's
that's
worthwhile.
massive.
We're saying
That's
that makes
bananas.
that takes the card from rare to super
Yeah.
rare.
Well,
And
here's
it,
the
it
here's the
can
hilarious
replace
combo.
itself, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could sing grab your sword on turn 4. So it's like you play Ariel turn 3, you find it, you flash it and go, hey friendo, all those 2-drops, you better use them right now because they're about to go.
Mhm.
Or if you're playing in blue, you hit a let it go. Like you can just like you could scare the crap out of people by just flashing a card and going, hey, look what I got. Ah! So she actually, interestingly enough, is potentially one of the answers to Tinkerbell, baby Tinkerbell, if you go first.
Oh, true.
Because if you have Ariel with red or blue, you slap her down turn 3, you dig, hit Dragon's Fire or let it go, show it to him. Now your opponent has to think about playing that Tinkerbell on turn 3.
Well, Dragonfire is an action,
Because-
not a song, but it does work with Let It Go. What
Oh, you're
thinking
right.
of.
You're right. That's right. It's let it go because Dragonfire is. Yeah, you're right. So if you're in blue, thank you for correcting me.
Mhm.
So if you're in blue, you can swing out, let it go. If you're in steel, you can swing out, grab your S word, and there's more to come. There's absolutely more cards that are coming.
Yeah.
In the field, but the reality is being able to dig 4 cards is interesting for 2 reasons. If you don't hit what you want, you still got to see what came through, and you can mathematically deduce, okay, here's X, here's Y, and then there's probably going to be some cards you don't care about. So you stick them at the bottom of your deck.
100% knowledge is power.
Yep.
But
I
yeah,
completely
you're able to see more stuff. Even if you can't use it, you still get to see it. Where your opponent's constantly like, well, what's the top card of my deck? I don't know. Okay, well, no. So there's a lot of utility with her ability. I know some people have said online, like, to get her, ability to trigger frequently, you have to have a certain amount of songs in the deck. Whether you do or don't, just being able to see those 4 cards is valuable. If you hit a song, it's great because now you've replaced her, and you have something more than likely that she can sing on the next turn, which that's a lot of pressure on the opponent to react to that. It's a body and potentially a song. I mean, even if you play her in freaking amethyst purple, and you're like, oh hey, here's the friends on the other side. You replaced yourself, and you can sing it on the next turn,
and being able to find the
Nani?
friends on the other side with her ability. I mean, it's just
Oh
it's so
my
good. Like,
Gosh, I didn't even think
Yeah,
about that.
everyone's thinking about removal. I'm like, you do realize she could hit Photos and be like, oh
Mhm.
hey man, like I have this friends on the other side, and get like I'm gonna just draw 3 cards off myself, I guess, whatever, bro. Like that's now that's situational, of course, but like you could just hit the God Hand and be like, I found friends. Like, woo, nice.
and like even you're saying, even if you whiff on the 4, you know what 4 just went to the bottom, and then you're getting closer to that friends on the other side. If that's what you were digging for more draw, I mean, it's just
Mhm.
it does so many things right.
You have any thoughts, Anthony, on the singing queen herself? I know you said you like the art.
I like the art. The art's dope.
Art
Those are
is
my
good.
thoughts,
I really
yeah.
like the art.
I know you
Art's
played
dope.
princesses whenever you tested.
Mm-hmm.
Would you feel like she would make the cut for you?
Oh yeah, anything. Because back then when I played it, it was just not that fun. Like I think I lost every game I played with it.
To be fair, the list
It's
was
changed
rough.
a lot.
The
That
list
was
was rough.
That was a
when you
while
tested.
ago. Yeah.
But yeah, I
Things
just
have changed.
yeah.
Here's a spicier thought too. She's an excellent target for bouncing. So when you play your genie
Oh yeah,
and you need removal, you bounce that Ariel back,
yeah.
slap her down, and try and
Amber-
grab that removal spell for the game.
Speaking of that, Amber Emerald is one of the combinations that I don't see it often paired together frequently. You know, because Amber's all about like building your board. Emerald has more of like your flexible answers for things, being awkward, being a little bit control-y, and so the strategies don't typically mesh together well. But we do need to move on to our next card, which is a card revealed today. Tyler, what is it?
So this is Anna, heir to Arendelle. Heir to Arendelle. She is a 4-drop inkable. She is a 2/4. This is the thing that I want to point out real quick because I know that we had a conversation about the fact that Elsa is the queen. Yeah, Storyborn Anna is a Storyborn hero queen. She is not a
Interesting.
princess. So
Yeah.
that's a very interesting little tidbit there that I was definitely not expecting.
This is placed at the end of Frozen 2. That's all it is.
Yeah, okay.
What's her ability?
Her ability is Loving Heart, and this is probably easily one of my favorite abilities that I've seen thus far because it's very controlling. When you play this character, if you have a character named Elsa in play, choose an opposing character. The chosen character doesn't ready at the start of the next turn. That's a really, really control-y play. Like,
This is the first ability I've seen that they've released that I'm like, that's just mean.
it is.
It's the first mean
Yeah, boy.
card.
Mean if
Time to
you
hurt
don't
some
like
people.
that style.
No, I'm saying no. Whenever I
All y'all
played
aggro
Magic,
kids about to learn.
yeah, whenever I played Magic, one of the things that I always felt like when I played, I was like, my deck wants to do its thing. This is Commander specific, 1v1, anything's game. But in Commander, I was like, I want my deck to do its thing. As long as I got to do my thing, I'm pretty cool. I'm not saying like play solitaire. I'm just saying like, don't like expressly stop me from playing the game. You
Don't
know
like
what I mean?
counter what I'm
Don't
trying
like
to
counter
do.
what I'm trying to do. You know, like when your
So
whole
basically, don't play Yu-Gi-Oh.
yeah, when your whole identity is stopping me from being myself, then you don't have an identity. Okay, so
But trap tricks are
Yeah.
fun, man.
but the thing
No.
is with this Anna,
Answer is no.
the Anna,
Trap tricks are fun.
the Anna, pretty much is the first ability in the game. Yeah, that's just like, I'm just gonna stop your plans wholesale. You're not gonna ready like you thought you were. It's almost more respectful just to remove it instead of letting me look at it unready. Like just kill it if you're gonna kill it. Like don't make you stare at it exerted for a whole turn. Yeah. Anyway,
This is that SpongeBob look at it meme. It's like,
Yeah.
look at it, look at it, look at it.
yeah. So, what are y'all's thoughts on the combination? Because we know Elsa exerts to exert another opposing character. So, Elsa on turn 3, Anna on turn 4. Elsa can say, "Hey, get down," and then Anna says, "You stay down." So, it's an interesting little combo. What do y'all think about the viability of it, though? Do you think it's good?
I do think that it's good, and this kind of falls into the same mindset as it's good in a vacuum. I do believe that even though you do need Elsa for it to work, I think that the ability on its own to just, because you don't even have to have Elsa pin something down. You can just be like, okay,
Mhm.
this one has already, like, say they quested last turn with their baby Mal, and it's just sitting there. They're like, okay, well, instead of removing it, and I've got this Elsa on the board, I'm going to go ahead and just say no, and that's not going to come back next turn. You're still going to have it, and you get to look at it and stare at it and enjoy the fact that you don't get to use it, or that might be me, I don't know. But it's just going to stay there, and then I'm going to go ahead and do my turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Alex.
My only thoughts to add on it, like I do, just like the Jetsam Flotsam, I like it pairs with an Elsa, and I kind of like how Sugi mentioned earlier with those two cards. There could be more Elsas.
I think she's
There
the
are.
Sapphire Legendary
So
or Amethyst
so
Legendary.
we already
sorry.
know
I
there's
think
going to be
she is.
more Elsas. So that just makes this card even better because you have more options than just the one.
Yeah.
It's
Right
nice that
now-
you have the one in the color, but when we get more in the future, it'll be even better. And weirdly enough, it kind of like when you think about someone's big questing character or like a Moana, you don't want it to ready back up.
Mhm.
You don't want it to get its ability, and you just Anna one turn, next turn Anna again, and you locked it down for
yeah.
2 turns. Chaining it over multiple turns, keeping something locked down could literally swing the game in any direction.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be my only tidbit to add.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Anthony.
Like we talked about with the kings, I'm excited to see what they do with queens as well, since this is an additional queen now.
Yeah.
So how many queens do we have now?
I think
see.
I don't know if was Maleficent a queen? I don't think so.
I don't think
She's
so.
just a
I
villain.
so.
think it's 2. I think it's Anna and Elsa for right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Well,
it is on an
Elsa
right now.
is featured on the Let It Go art, which I went back and forth a second ago, but I do want to say that they have not revealed the legendary for Amethyst or the legendary for Sapphire. Well, at least one of them. They haven't revealed one. And I think that because Let It Go is in Sapphire, my prediction is that Elsa will be the Sapphire legendary, which would give another little strategy to a Sapphire Amethyst deck. As it stands right now, in our vacuum discussion, Anna is really bad to me because in a vacuum, she's really bad.
No.
Because I think
Oh no.
I think
Jacques,
four,
ah!
4-cost Inkable is great. Inkable means it's always useful somewhere, even face down. But
Wow.
That's
as a 2/4 lore,
Man,
I respect
you've
the
activated
2
my
lore.
joke trap. Look at your face.
The 2 lore makes it good, but the problem I have is you are requiring that by turn 4 you have not just had an Elsa but played an Elsa. And I know from my time playing and testing the game, my testing decks with Amethyst, I'm usually not ready to commit to an Elsa on turn 3. Usually Elsa's like turn 4, turn 5, like I weave her in together with a Pascal somewhere, and I'm setting up for like a good challenger turn later. She's a wheel, she's like a gear in the cog. Like she is a system card. And I'm scared on turn 3 to commit to a 2/3 that requires an exert ability, unless I have like 2 or 1 cost that I definitely want to challenge with, because that's typically where she's best. And as it stands right now, if you don't have that Elsa down, that might as well be a vanilla. A vanilla 4-cost 2/4 with 2 lore, which is just not it.
I
So it's
agree,
basically
but
like a Pongo.
But I guess
No.
the other aspect of it is they made the card super flexible.
True.
I mean,
Yeah, true.
like you said, if you don't have the Elsa, ink it.
Yeah.
You don't have to need it. Oh, you need a body on board, or you're trying to get ahead on lore. At least it quests for 2. You know what I mean?
I will
Not
not
one.
stand for someone making a counterpoint to
Yeah.
my argument.
No, exactly.
Do not bring
So,
that here.
I gave you.
You're
I
sitting.
gave you.
You're
But
not
I,
standing.
but I went with you too because I said
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
ink
yeah.
it. So
I
the
got you.
flexibility of the card makes it playable.
Yeah.
Of course, I think it's in the right deck as well. I mean, it's definitely gonna be that more controllable deck, maybe with steel.
Mhm.
So when you don't have as many options, you're like, oh well, I'd rather play my Captain Hook and get my Fire the Cans back. So I will ink this Anna this time and get my Fire the Cans back with Hook or something.
This kind of actually makes me feel a little bit better about Amethyst Emerald, because you have Wolfsbane, Beast Wolfsbane,
Oh yeah.
where you want to tap something down with Elsa and keep it down, and then on turn 5, like turn 4 you have Anna, and then turn 5 you have Beast Wolfsbane.
Just rush in.
And so you just automatically rush in and just take it out. So it has some playability in some other decks that is kind of, I wouldn't say niche, but it's definitely suitable to a certain idea that typically wouldn't be probably in its normal phase or vacuum.
To add to your point, Pocket Watch gives rush and it's in the same color.
That's true.
Very
so
true.
you could literally drop her, exert their character, rush her, knock it out.
Yep.
You know.
Good stuff.
There's some things.
Here's a thought. Would you think Lorcana would be more fun if Anna removed that part of her sentence that says, if you have a character named Elsa in play, and her ability just said, when you play Anna, choose a character, they don't untap.
Holy
Oh,
cow.
man.
That would be so good.
I'll tell you this: it would have to cost more
I don't
than
think the
4.
game would be fun.
Yeah,
no,
I don't.
it
I don't
would
like
be
it.
too
That's the
good.
thing.
Locking things
Yeah.
down like that is super strong.
I think there's a reason
Yeah.
that blue in Magic has been memed so much because it expresses emotion in humans, to put it the most graceful way I can. So
All kinds of emotion.
yeah, you get a lot of emotion playing against blue, and anything that like I said,
all
anything
typically negative.
especially in a game that's like asynchronous playing, where like you do everything on your turn and then your opponent does everything on their turn. This game doesn't even have what Hearthstone has of like secrets triggering and proccing #yet, but the feeling of someone's taking their whole turn, doing what they want, establishing their board, and then also saying, "Hey, whenever you take your turn, I also get a say on what you do there too." Doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I would hate that. So
I mean, so like Anna's interesting too. I love divisive cards because it's fun to see what people have to say about them. So I've seen people online and even here say, a 2-card combo, that's rough. Fair. Okay. Counterpoint. Tinkerbell shifting is a 2-card combo,
Yeah.
and everyone's losing their mind
very
about
true.
that.
Very true.
So I don't think 2-card combo is the problem. Because with shift, technically, you have to have another character named X. So Anna says if you have another character named X, do a thing. Shift says if you have another character named X, do a thing.
Yeah.
So I personally don't see 2-card combo as the problem.
I would counterpoint
Sure.
with Giant Fairy Tinkerbell is pretty good for a 6-cost card played on her own without the shift target. This one is just literally, if it had literally any other text than her ability, give her like, I don't know, Challenger +1. It would be something that I could like say
You wouldn't
innate
use
value.
that. You want to quest with her. With her,
Oh,
with
yeah,
her
yeah.
butt. You
I'm
want
just
to
saying, like
quest.
anything other than her ability would immediately give her a little bit of standalone value, but she just doesn't.
I would also like to point out, we talked about rarities. This is just an uncommon.
It's uncommon. True.
So the expectation for this card to be amazing is not high.
Yeah.
So if we're looking at, and same thing with Elsa. Elsa is just an uncommon. So just with that whole shtick there, I mean, neither one were expected or are expected to be amazing. They are supposed to be decent at best. And that's okay.
I think they are amazing, though.
I think they are very good. I would not put them at decent at best. I would put they are very good for what they are.
Gotcha.
So if you build a deck around them, this is like Ariel. Ariel is a combo piece you have to build around. Anna and Elsa are a combo piece you have to build around. It's not, in my opinion, there's more coming and it's not fully revealed. So like now in this spectrum of knowledge, it's mid, I think, as the kids would say. So I do agree.
Wow.
However, when I look at Ariel, and I said this on Lorcanacast, and I stand by this, I think Ariel, any card that has an infinite potential of untapping itself, not locked to once per turn, generally has broken games wide open. I have yet to see a trading card game where those cards don't get banned or eroded.
Yeah.
There's just something about cards that say, if I fulfill this thing, I can untap myself and do whatever I want an infinite amount of times, potentially.
Yeah.
So when I see Anna and Elsa saying you don't get to play the game with a 2-card combo, yes, I agree. That's pretty strict. It's pretty stiff. But if you start to look at some of the tools we have available, like Genie, also everyone is thinking about playing Anna and Elsa on turn 3 and 4. You probably want to play Anna and Elsa on turn 5 and 6, where people are going to play their Rockstar Stitch.
That is
They're
true.
going to play their Maui. They're going to play their whatever. You're going to see like things like Iago. You're going to see things like Moana. Or Tinkerbell. You want to lock down big threats, and currently in the game, those threats are coming down in later turns. And guess what? You can play around turn 6, turn 7, Genie.
Triton.
So if you're running multiple copies, you can play Ana, play Genie, Bouncer, play another Ana. Like you can keep a tempo control. It's not perfect, it's not optimal, but the fact that we actually have a card with an ability that says no means there's more. There are more cards coming that say you don't get to play the game. So the more abilities and effects we see that become available, the better this combo becomes, because you have more access to no exerting, no tapping, no questing, no nothing. Also, reckless and green, you have to attack, but you don't get to quest. And how do you win the game? You quest. So comboing this with Iago, no questing. Comboing this with the Beast is Mine, no questing. Comboing Ana and Elsa, no questing. Green and purple are getting a lot of no questing tools, not necessarily in the means you want it. Like you don't want to get attacked, but I mean, if they cheat something out really fast, hey, it's just never going to tap.
Yeah. And I'm always down for, even if I don't like it, someone will. I think everybody here probably has more tolerance of the blue player than I do. But
wow, I love you too.
Yeah, it's
because he's sitting by one that he's saying that.
It's a matter of
it's okay. I feel you, Strawberry Bro.
People being able to have their ability to express themselves. So to wrap up the conversation of card reveals, what is your favorite among the cards revealed? How about our guest starts? What's your favorite of the ones we've discussed?
Writing Elsa on all my cards in Sharpie, so Ana procs 100% of the time.
So
jokes aside, Ana by far.
Ana's favorite.
Wow.
Ana has the most potential. So Lilo, we know where she goes. Pongo, we know where he goes. Grab your sword, Ariel. They're pretty telegraphed what they're supposed to do, where they're supposed to go. Control decks, in my opinion, from my experience, is very heavily about player expression. You get all these weird janky tools that make no sense, and you have to play hundreds, if not thousands of games with reps out of control. And then you find this really stupid deck, and you take it to locals and you hurt people's souls. And then you take it to a tournament and you make everyone really mad at you because you just prove that you're a better player.
Sounds like you're speaking from experience.
Don't worry about it. and then people realize, oh yeah, maybe we were wrong because we didn't think about this combo. So like, I'm not saying Ana breaks the game or anything, but I'm saying she has the most interesting possibilities, and she has the most interesting keyword, and she has very interesting things that she alludes to. Like, we know there's another Elsa coming. There's probably another Ana coming. And let's be honest, Elsa is a very hot character, very not like beautifully, but I'm saying like very popular.
She's not bad looking, but
sorry, but I should clarify. She's a very, very popular topic.
Yes.
So when I see this card that says if you have a character named Elsa, do a thing, there's probably more Elsas in set 2, set 3, set whatever. So this card, in theory, just gets more tools to trigger her ability over time, which means I'm really excited to see what I'm saying is this Ana. I'm really excited to see what happens by the time we get to set 4.
Yeah.
What does she do? Does she have more tools? Is there going to be an Ana Elsa control? Like, what could the potentiality be? Because she is not limited by her templating. Grab your sword, in my opinion, is limited to if the meta has a bunch of 1 and 2 drops, this card is great. If the meta evolves to 3, 4, and 5 drops, I mean, if you could sing 2 of them, great, but it's a lot to ask. So, like, grab your sword is a great tool against very specific things. Ana is very open-ended to many potentialities.
So your favorite was based on its open-endedness. I totally get that. You want to express yourself
and the fact I can tap you down and say no.
Yeah.
Just no, you don't get to play.
My man.
So, Anthony, what is your favorite card of the ones we've discussed today?
My favorite card is Jetsam. Really, both Jetsam and Flotsam.
That's
and
fair. They come in a pair.
How they combine and the potential of whatever comes out next.
Killed me, Ant.
It's man. It's just I just love these 2 cards and what they can potentially do.
I got you. That's a fair play. Alex, what's your favorite?
Okay, so my favorite is Ariel. I love all of her abilities. I like the singer on her as well. And kind of like Ana, a lot of the points you were making, Sugi, I love the openness because like the open-ended of the more songs we get, the more versatile she is. I mean, she could be used to get a board wipe, like the grab your swords. I mean, she could be used to get hard removal. It just depends on what you need. I like the flexibility that the character brings with her extra ability of being able to dig for.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, a lot of games I play, I guess I'm analytical, kind of like Suki was talking about as well, is like seeing those top 4 is huge knowledge for me, because I'm like, okay, I know I can't get that because that was my last one. It's gone. What is my next win con? What is my answer to get to where I need
You're
to be?
definitely a thinker.
So
I get you.
I definitely like to strategize, and it kind of makes a fun aspect too, because you're like, oop, there goes 4 cards, and I needed one of them, and I can't get it now. So it kind of like, okay, well, what is my next chance to do it next? But flexibility, overall strong card, and it's definitely my favorite.
Right,
My favorite Ariel in general as well.
Oh,
I'll put that out there. A lot of people might like the item one.
The item one's cool.
But that is my favorite
I
Ariel.
get you.
Still on the item one.
Well, mine, go figure, the Ruby fan getting a Ruby card here. But if it's just any old Ruby card, it's not really going to matter to me. I'll give Ruby a little bit of favoritism.
Sergeant Tibbs?
Oh, no. Yeah.
Sergeant Tibbs.
I was very happy to see him, by the way. But Pongo, the old Rascal, is my favorite of the ones revealed, just because it helps now secure that Emerald Ruby evasive deck where you have a 3 through 6, still missing a 7 cost evasive to bridge the gap to an 8 cost Mickey, but you have the gap of evasives you can play on curve every turn. Tyler, what about you?
I hate all of you because I feel like the ones that I wanted to talk about, you took. And
It's okay. That's okay.
So
I got to get to the mailbag anyway, so.
That's true. So I 100% agree with Ant on the Flotsam, Jetsam. I think the potential that those have by themselves is astounding. I think they are going to be very good. I think personally, as far as just flavor is concerned, we all know where I stand on Lilo and Stitch as a series.
Yeah.
So Lilo is easily one of my favorite cards that has been revealed because I wanted it for so long.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I know,
That's so
because
sweet.
she's adorable, man. It's hard to not love the adorableness. So
All right. Well, we need to get to the final segment. We're running a little long on time, but we're going to still make time for you, the listener. We have our mailbag segment at the end, and we actually have 2 questions, one from YouTube, one from Twitter, that we feel like we can kind of combine the mailbag onto both YouTube and Twitter, because we had 2 questions related around songs. On YouTube, the question is from Nick Gagalis. Tyler, go ahead and read the question from
to
Nick.
be able to say his name.
You can say his name right now. He's not Voldemort.
Nick, are we sure about that? Nick Gagalis. Anyway, so he asks, songs seem to be a huge part of both of what makes Lorcana unique and also what makes a great deck. Whether it's questing, singing, using an ability, or challenging, exerting doesn't cost any ink. However, it is a risk exposing a character. How do you quantify that risk and the payoff? Does it change based on what you're choosing to do or not do with that character?
Okay. So we also
Buy
have
them a big
one
coat.
other. We also have one other question. It's the Twitter question, and it was from Citizens of Lorcana, and we're bringing this up at the same time because they are pretty much directly related together. We feel like we can get 2 birds with one stone. Citizens of Lorcana asks, what types of 5-cost songs or effects would you like to see for this new Ariel that was revealed with the singer keyword? So let's tackle the song topic here. Nick asked,
Ooh.
how do you quantify the risk and the payoff of a song, and does it change based on what you're doing with the character? And Citizens of Lorcana follows that up with, what kind of song would you want to see for the Ariel in particular? So let's tackle Nick's first. What's a scenario where you can imagine, like, think of a singer and a combination. I know for me, it's like Maleficent Sorceress and her best friend, friends on the other side.
I think
You automatically want to do that because the 2/2 with one lord that
Yeah.
Maleficent has, it's not like you're not losing a ton when you get that high value. So I would say it's gameplay dependent, but exerting a card, it really matters. Like, how much do you want that card to get exerted? And the more you don't care about it being exerted, the song becomes more free.
Yeah, I think
Which
it's
are-
very color dependent. I think it really matters about what type of gameplay you're trying to go about with the color combination that you're using. I think it it matters a lot in Amber Steel, where you've got a lot of bodyguards and a lot of big things that really work towards that same mentality of you want them to be exerted, and kind of with the same mentality as now Amber Amethyst as it stands with its kind of influx in bodyguards. I think same rules apply. I think it's all about the type of gameplay that you're looking for. Same thing with green, with wanting to have something like Cruella and Chesh as targets to be attacked, because
you don't care.
Yeah,
it's a benefit to get
you
exerted.
want them to be gone. So it really has a lot to do with the color combination.
I will go venture farther. It's stat dependent.
Sure.
I mean, like Jacob, you kind of started on it for a little bit with the Maleficent, being a 2/2, not that valuable. Being only to quest for 1 lore, not that valuable. Of course, everything's gonna matter where you're at in the game, but the less you can quest for, and the less stats that you have to use for challenge, the better singer it is. I mean,
I think a way we could quantify that point, and a simple way to understand, would be the best characters to sing, Ariel excluded. The best ones to sing are the ones that you got the most value just from playing.
even like the Anna we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Great sing target because she got her ability when you played her.
Yeah, you got the value that the card was costed for already. The rest is gravy. So things like Maleficent, they got their value when you got your card. Things like Ariel, she technically would get your value whenever you played her. So the cards that get their value the moment they're played are the ones who you want singing songs. Otherwise, how much do you care about them being exerted? Because if you're using a Aurora Regal Princess to sing a Be Our Guest, you must not have an Aurora Dreaming Guardian in your hand, because you would not be doing that and exposing her to risk of being removed. So the follow-up question we can kind of tie this in with was, what kind of effects would you want to see on a 5-cost song?
Oh, I've got one for you.
What's the song, Sugi?
I don't care. Just draw 3 cards.
Oh, draw 3 cards. Oh, yeah, that would kind of track with Magic, too. I know they had
Pay 5,
3.
draw 3.
Yeah, pay 3, draw 2, pay 5, draw 3. It
In a
tracks.
song, oh man.
In a song would be really good.
I like that a
Boink.
lot. I
Yeah.
like that a lot.
I think that would
You can
definitely
send
be
a
good
check
for
to
Ariel.
lorcanacast@gmail.com.
Hey, guest of Ready Set Draw.
So I know, just to kind of stay topical with the Twitter, is the Lorcana Twitter posted the GIF of the Hakuna Matata animation, and it looks like an amber card because it has the amber weave in it, and everybody's kind of been surmising like, what's Hakuna Matata going to do? And you immediately go to your head like, it means no worries. Well, to me, the effect that I would see Hakuna Matata doing that I definitely would want in tandem with a card like Ariel is, I'm more worried about my characters taking damage. So I would want a card like Hakuna Matata to say, you can sing this, your characters don't take damage in challenges this turn. So maybe you could use your Moana, quest with your stuff, and then now all your princesses can challenge, but you're kind of scared to challenge because they're going to take damage and you don't want to lose them for next turn.
See how he ends up breaking the game with different things like this?
I know. Don't let
means-
this man design cards.
Let
Don't
me.
do it.
It's
No.
uninkable though. It's
No,
It's
uninkable.
uninkable, guys. It's
sir.
uninkable.
No,
So
sir. That
cares?
doesn't. Yeah, I was
No,
about to say.
I know.
No,
You might as well say your cards are indestructible at this point.
Exactly.
Like,
That's-
yeah, no,
that's what I
absolutely
would say
not.
too.
I'm not your boyfriend.
You know what? We can end the show. We've had a great show today. No.
no,
Run, everybody. Run away right now.
But no, I'd kind of to that point, but not to that point, because I've made my feelings known about that particular way of playing a game, and I don't like that. I don't like it in Magic. I think that if you're going to do something like Hakuna Matata, then it needs to be something like all of your characters ready, but they can't quest this turn.
Okay, just for save
It
them
just
essentially.
it gives them the safety net, but you have to you give your opponent the opportunity to be able to remove them with like targeted removal or mass effect removal, but
Yeah.
it still makes them safe by some stretch of the imagination.
To stay on topic with the 5-cost
It
song,
don't even have to be 5 costs. It could be any cost, really.
I would like to
Just-
see like a Professor Sycamore type card.
Oh,
like,
just
Oh,
discard and then draw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Discard your
Oh
whole
my
hand and
gosh, that sounds. I
Yeah.
would kill for
that would be
Professor
lovely.
card.
It- One of the effects we haven't seen in the game too in this game in particular that I'm really looking for. You mentioned the trample situation. Even a song, the trample situation, I bring that up because in that topic we talked about making your opponent lose lore. And I just want to bring up Ruby could totally have a song to just make your opponent lose lore. That's all it does.
Why do you hate? Why do you hate people? And
I mean,
strawberry ice cream.
Rapunzel, when you play her,
Rapunzel, she makes them lose lore.
so,
That's
I mean,
all it is.
But a song,
But a song like that, of it could be cheap enough.
I like the draw 3. That's my vote. That's a good
Okay.
one.
Oh, well, okay, all right. Here's Akuna Matata. Here's my vote for Akuna. So we got just in time. So it's spicy mode.
Oh.
You get to search your deck for whatever you want, any character, play for free.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Sugi,
Well, you
so-
just speaking of
My
break
man.
the game. Is it uninkable? Is it uninkable at least?
Is
It is uninkable.
Okay. It's good. It's completely
But
good.
it's I mean it's a 5 or a 6 cost. So you
Yeah.
have to play up.
That's true.
Or
Yeah, but you could cheat out like
search
Maleficent
you
Dragon.
tutor for
Oh my
something.
gosh.
Well,
Yeah.
so here's the posture for that card thought. There are legendary cards that realistically, I know YouTubers and content creators and people are like, I've played Brave Little Taylor Mickey and I've played Maleficent Dragon. It's like,
feel
I believe you
attacked.
have. I have
feel
too.
attacked.
But I've also played it when we're playing funsies matches. I've yet to play it when we're playing competitive matches
Mm-hmm.
because you just don't get to that point. These cards exist for a reason, and I don't think it's for collectability. I think there are going to be ways to either ramp or cheat cards onto the field faster.
I gotcha.
So I could absolutely see if we just in time seems to be a hint of things to come. For 3, you can pay cards that cost 5 or less.
So
you can
jump
cheat
2 then.
cards out.
I think you could probably
So-
see a bigger jump the higher you go up. So
Yeah. So
Like you're
I
saying.
could see a Kuda Matata. I don't think it tutors. If we're really
Yeah.
honest about it,
Yeah,
Probably
maybe
5
not that
drop.
part.
yeah,
yeah, it's a 5 drop, non-inkable, but you can play a card cost 5 or higher from your hand for free.
that'd be great.
There you go.
I'd love that.
So
All
that's
right.
how you get out your Triton, Maui, Maleficent, Brave Little Taylor, Wonk Donk. You just rush them out and go, yo, it's turn 5. Here's my 8 drop.
Deal with it.
Have fun.
I do like that style of playing.
Mickey on
I was
turn
about to
5.
say,
Ooh.
like you're
Speaking my language now. You
You're
lost me
speaking
with
to the
tutor.
Timmy inside of
Yeah.
inside of Jacob right now.
Well, we got to
Well,
wrap
I
up
mean,
the
like,
show.
we've seen ramp in Lorcana.
Yeah.
I'll make this short.
It's okay.
We've seen ramp and we've seen cheats. They're not going to just stick to like those minimal cards. If we're seeing like those are like the tastes of what is to come.
I agree.
So there's got to be more, especially with all of these legendaries being so prohibitively costed in terms of like hard casting.
Mhm.
It's just like there's got to be something to get them out or something to slow them down. So like with Tank and Grab Your S Word, you can slow the game down to a point where you can hit turn 7, 8, 9.
That's
But
true.
if you're not playing those cards, then now we're talking about like mid-range evasive. You're trying to win by like turn 8, maybe 7. You're just rushing out. So I could see Akuna Matata letting you cheat a card bigger than what you paid.
Yeah, means no worries. All right. Well, like I said, we do have to wrap up the show. We've had a wonderful time here with
Oh, it's been absolutely great.
Lorcanacast here. Sugi, we would be remiss if we did not give you the opportunity to shout out your wonderful content. You and your crew over at Lorcanacast have some great stuff. I know I am a forever listener. So please tell us and tell the people listening where they can find your stuff.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. It's been a blast. Y'all are just awesome. It's a lot of fun to talk with y'all. So my name is Sugi. Our show is called Lorcanacast. So I'm a co-host with Chris Bates and Skeff. The 3 of us talk about Lorcana. We've got a collective like 70 plus years of TCG experience. So our philosophy is let's create a show that's entertaining and educational and make ourselves available to everyone in the community. If you've got questions, you can message us. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You can leave a comment in one of the videos. You can send us an email. Our belief and our love is that of like what Walt Disney did. He wants to help educate, entertain, and just create a really cool and inclusive environment for as many people as possible. And we know that there's a lot of folks coming to Lorcana for their very first time. There's a lot of people who are coming back from trading card games because they quit for whatever reason. And now they see a Disney card game they can play with a family member, a spouse, a child, loved one, whatever. So we want people to have fun, but I also want to provide a lot of great quality information because you're going to hear a lot of people say X and Y. and there's just not necessarily a lot of heft behind it. So we want to be some people who can be available to the community to be a resource at any capacity possible. And that's pretty much it. We want to have fun and help people.
All right. Well, we
Awesome.
will have the stuff in all the links to his socials and stuff in the description below for if you want to check him out yourself. We highly recommend it.
I am taking all you lovely people, so you can check me out as much as you want, but you can't have.
All right, Tyler, why don't you sign us out?
Well, guys, thanks again for listening to Ready Set Live. If you could like and share the content and subscribe to the channel, as well as hitting that notification bell for updates on when we post new content. Don't forget to leave a comment as we check for any questions that you guys might have, as well as things to add to our mailbag portion of the podcast. And who knows, maybe your question will be answered in the next episode. And thanks again to Texarkana Podcast for their contribution in making this episode possible. And once again, thanks Sugi for being on our channel this week. We really appreciate it. As always, this is Tyler for Ready Set Draw, signing out.